What up, everybody? I hope y'all having a good day, because my day, woo. When I tell y'all I had a bad day, oh my goodness. I had a bad day today, but you know what? I am not going to let anybody define my damn day. Now, it was bad, but I'm still getting on live. And y'all, we got to talk about Donald Trump, okay? We are not going to let Donald Trump think that we are not going to talk about all of this stuff that is surrounding his name, because they've been saying for years. I mean, we can go find these pictures on Google. Y'all can go Google this stuff yourselves. Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein. That's what we're talking about. We are talking about, and thank everybody who is in the live, honey, but we need to talk about Donald Trump and why. Somebody tell me, why do we have a president in the White House who's been hanging out with a convicted sex offender? We're going to talk about it. I know Donald Trump don't want us to talk about it, but we're going to talk about why we have this man in the White House. I had left today and I was driving down the street and I saw a whole bunch of people that live in my neighborhood, and they had these signs and they was saying all kind of stuff, y'all. They was like, we got a pedo in the White House. People are tired of Donald Trump and his games. It ain't even about if you're a Republican or a Democrat. It's about the people that we have in the White House. Now, we're going to get into this breaking news that we're going to keep talking about, because we are not going to not talk about that we have a president in the White House that was best friends with a convicted sex offender. Because when Obama was in the White House, he dragged the hell out of Obama, lied on him. But one thing Obama was never with is Jeffrey Epstein.
Oversight Committee subpoenaed from the Epstein estate reams, thousands of pages worth, released this morning by Democrats on that panel, several mentioning President Trump by name.
This morning, the bombshell release of what House Democrats say are emails to and from deceased convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, several referring to President Donald Trump by name. In an April 2011 email released by Democrats on the House Oversight Committee, lawmakers say Epstein wrote to his now convicted accomplice, Ghislaine Maxwell, 3 years after pleading guilty to sex crimes involving a minor, telling her, "I want you to realize that that dog that hasn't barked is Trump. Unnamed victims spent hours at my house with him. He has never once been mentioned." According to the released emails, Maxwell responds, "I have been thinking about that." But this summer, in a recorded interview with the Department of Justice, Maxwell told Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche, the president's former lawyer, she never witnessed Trump act inappropriately.
I never witnessed the president in any inappropriate setting in any way. The president was never inappropriate with anybody. In the times that I was with him, he was a gentleman in all respects.
Shortly after that interview, Maxwell was moved to a minimum security prison camp, prompting criticism she received special treatment. Committee Democrats also releasing this January 2019 email, where Epstein corresponds with author Michael Wolff less than 6 months before the financier would be charged again, this time with sex trafficking of minors. Discussing President Trump's repeated claim he kicked Epstein out of his Palm Beach club, Epstein writing, "Trump said he asked me to resign, never a member ever. Of course, he knew about the girls, as he asked Ghislaine to stop." President Trump has denied any knowledge of Epstein's alleged crimes.
It's a hoax. It's started by Democrats.
After Epstein's arrest in 2019, Trump said he hadn't spoken with him in 15 years. And earlier this year, Trump claimed the reason he banned his one-time friend from Mar-a-Lago in the mid-2000s was because Epstein stole Trump's club staff, including young women.
He took people, and because he took people, I said, don't do it anymore. You know, they work for me. And he took, beyond that, he took some others. And once he did that, that was the end of him. I didn't like, when they steal people, I don't like it.
And no response yet from the White House on the release of these emails. Meantime, right up here on Capitol Hill, in just hours, Speaker Mike Johnson will swear in Representative-elect 𝐟𝐨𝐫𝐫𝐢. The Speaker has prevented her from 7 weeks now from taking her seat. She says one of her first orders of business will be signing that petition, providing the last signature it needs to force a vote on the House floor for the release of thousands of other pages of the Department of Justice's Epstein records. Once she does that, the clock starts ticking down to that vote, expected in the coming weeks, George.
Well, this was the information that we had heard. So let me kind of break it down to y'all, because I had to figure out, wait a minute. If they have the emails and the files, then what are we waiting on? So the emails that you guys, if you have not saw the emails, I can bring it up. There were emails that were released. Now, these emails were not released by the Department of Justice, who should have released them, because if y'all know how this works, Donald Trump has his cronies working for the Department of Justice. So therefore, they have to go through this Congress bullcrap to get the files released. The emails that you guys have saw on all of these different blogs, those emails were released by Jeffrey Epstein's estate. So obviously, they were emails on his computer, so they turned those over. But no, Donald Trump has not released those files. And people are saying, what is Donald Trump hiding? Because here's the deal, Donald. If you don't have nothing to hide, then what the hell are you hiding? You are in the highest office of this country, and you are all entangled with a man that is a convicted pedophile. I mean, it's something weird about that. So Donald, you in the mix, either you're happy. It's really seeming like he's one of them. But let's get into what Jeffrey Epstein said about Donald, because this is not about them being acquaintances. Jeffrey said that Donald was his best friend.
Assert my 5th, 6th, and 14th Amendment rights, sir.
Have you ever had a personal relationship with Donald Trump?
What do you mean by personal relationships?
Have you socialized with him?
Yes, sir.
Yes?
Yes, sir.
Have you ever socialized with Donald Trump in the presence of females under the age of 18?
Though I'd like to answer that question, at least today, I'm going to have to assert my 5th, 6th, and 14th Amendment rights, sir.
Have you ever had a...
I'm going to have to assert my 5th, 6th, and 14th Amendment rights, sir.
Have you ever had a personal relationship with Donald Trump?
What do you mean by personal relationships?
Have you socialized with him?
Yes, sir.
Yes?
Yes, sir.
Have you ever socialized with Donald Trump in the presence of females under the age of 18?
When asked, basically, has Donald Trump been around kids? I mean, under 18, has Donald Trump been around kids? You know exactly what the hell the question is. It should be no. But the fact that you want to assert your 5th Amendment and all of that bullshit is clearly telling us that y'all are weird, and it was some shit going on that you just don't want to say. I mean, if somebody asks me that, hell to the no. What are you talking about? But the fact that you can't answer the question, thank you for telling us yes, because it is clear that Donald Trump, this is what he do.
Though I'd like to answer that question, at least today, I'm going to have to assert my 5th, 6th, and 14th Amendment rights.
Of course, you want to assert your 29,000 Amendment right, whatever the hell you're talking about. But let's get into the victims, y'all. Did you all know that it was a 13-year-old? Well, she said when she was 13, she was R by not only Epstein, she said her Epstein and Donald basically R'd her.
Donald Trump had specifically asked about me because I remind him of his daughter. And she said, well, Donald Trump had specifically asked about me because I remind him of his daughter. Donald Trump had specifically asked about me because I remind him of his daughter.
Now, isn't that weird? A man wants well, first of all, a child. That's nasty enough. And then you like her because she reminds you of your daughter. That is some weird stuff. And let me kind of lay this all out, y'all. This is somewhat about Donald Trump because he won't release the files. But what people are saying is that it's a lot of people names in there. And when I say a lot of names, I'm talking about white names, okay? The white folks, okay? The nasty, nasty old men, they are in this information. So we already know that Donald Trump had this affiliation with this man. And also, y'all, it's being reported that Donald Trump spent Thanksgiving with Jeffrey Epstein when he was president. So it's a lot of stuff coming out. There are victims out here.
He is able to convince people, so he tells everybody what they want to hear.
So how do you know?
Okay, let me tell you guys what I'm playing. Okay, what I have is an audio of... Let me add myself back here. I'm sorry. So what I have is an audio of Jeffrey Epstein, okay? And he's telling this person about Donald Trump and what type of loser he is.
Charming. He is able to convince people, so he tells everybody what they want to hear.
So how do you know this?
Donald's close to straight.
He has a sense of humor. He can be funny.
He's great. His ability to sell. It's very much like Clinton. Both Bill and Donald have the ability to go over to a fat, ugly woman, say, you are the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. So you probably know he has scalp reduction. Because he has the same male pattern movement that we all have. But he's not a horrible human being. He does nasty things to his best friends' wives. Anyone who...
Did y'all hear that? He said he does horrible things with his best friend wives. I gotta rewind this. So he's talking about the type of person Donald Trump is. This is a scumbag. Did y'all hear? I gotta rewind it. He said he does horrible things with his friends' wives. What did he just say? We gotta rewind this. This is too much.
He is able to convince people, so he tells everybody what they want to hear.
So how do you know this?
Donald's close to straight.
He has a sense of humor. He can be funny.
He's great. His ability to sell. It's very much like Clinton. Both Bill and Donald have the ability to go over to a fat, ugly woman, say, you are the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. So you probably know he has scalp reduction. Because he has the same male pattern movement that we all have. But he's not a horrible human being. He does nasty things to his best friends' wives.
Did y'all hear that? He said he's a horrible human being. He does nasty things with his best friend wives. Did y'all hear that? What?
Anyone who first tries to gain your trust and then uses it to do bad things, that's how it goes.
Anybody that gains his trust, he uses it for bad things. Well, I believe that because we're seeing this play right out in front of our eyes. Jeffrey Epstein said Donald Trump was doing things with his best friend's wives. Have y'all, y'all got to play that again. I got to play that again. That was just a little bit too much.
Able to convince people, so he tells everybody what they want to hear.
So how do you know this?
Donald's close to straight.
He has a sense of humor. He can be funny.
He's great. His ability to sell. It's very much like Clinton. Both Bill and Donald have the ability to go over to a fat, ugly woman, say, you are the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. So you probably know he has scalp reduction. Because he has the same male pattern movement that we all have. But he's not a horrible human being. He does nasty things to his best friends' wives.
A horrible human being. He does nasty things. What? But listen to this, y'all. The internet is undefeated. The internet is undefeated, honey. Anything you give them, they're going to research that shit as if they getting paid. Well, honey, they went back and dug out some pictures of Miss Pam Bondi, and they trying to say that she was one of Donald Trump hoes back in the days. Y'all, let me put this up there because I was like, ooh, look at this.
Attorney General. I think I actually met him in college, but I didn't know him well then at all.
Go figure. Look at this.
Look at this, y'all. Do y'all see that picture? They're trying to say that this is Pam Bondi, y'all. Look, don't she look like a little kid? What in the hell kind of administration do we have? Like this, is this for real? Like, I feel like I'm asleep and I'm not woken up. I said, this is crazy. So they're saying that this is Pam Bondi. It looked just like her, but look how young she looks. Donald Trump was still old then. So I think Pam Bondi is in her 20s or something. I got to look it up. But the internet is saying that Pam Bondi was one of his hoes, y'all. Look at this. Look at this. We got to rewind this shit. This is too good.
I met him before I was Attorney General. I think I actually met him in college, but I didn't know him well then at all.
Go figure. Look at this. Oh, look at this. Look at this. Oh, would you look at this? Just look.
I met him before.
So they trying to say that Pam Bondi was one of Donald Trump hoes, y'all. This is what they saying. They don't went and found this woman picture, and this lady looked just like her, okay? So they're saying she's so loyal to Donald Trump because she was one of his hoes. I'm just like, what is really going on, child? We got a whole joke administration. Now, I was able to find another guy. Now, this is what this guy said. I'm going to put his story up in a minute. What he said is that he was a victim. He also says that people think that it was all women. He said, absolutely not. Not only was it women that was trafficked, he said that it was men too. And I was like, you know what? People never really think about the men. We just assume that it's always women. But let's get into what he had to say.
𝐸𝐵 Fitch CEO and a web of people who are still able to do this because people continue to act like they care but don't actually care. Regarding the Epstein files, I need you to please listen to me and listen to me for the entirety of this. Save this, share this, help me get this out there because this is important. Men and boys are absolutely included in all of this. Many of you know my story. Many people still don't know the story because it has been pushed down over and over because people don't like to understand that men and boys have always been victims in all of this as well. The person behind 𝐸𝐵 Fitch at the height of it all, former CEO who I'm talking about, and I refuse to say his name on here because he does not get to take up space in my world anymore. The person who enabled him from the beginning was Lex Wexner. Lex Wexner is also the person who enabled, from the beginning, Jeffrey Epstein. As you connect more of these dots, you realize that this has been going on for a very long time, and it's still going on to some capacity because these industries, like the modeling industry, are predatory and they are a front for so many other things that are not what the world wants to know. I want to speak directly to survivors right now. Please take care of yourself. The world is using this as fodder. A lot of people that don't actually care about this are now going to use this to get engagement, to get likes, to get follows. And I'm grateful that noise is being made, but it's so sad because we've known this for so long. And if people just believe survivors, we wouldn't be in this position to begin with. Please take care of yourself. Turn these things off. Don't engage with the people who are not actually coming at this with sensitivity and nuance and looking to actually help push this conversation forward so that justice can actually be had. What we're fighting is a system that was built by predators for predators. It's soul-sucking and it's gaslighting and it makes you feel crazy. The truth is that we are going to see change and we are going to find justice in different ways, and it's going to take a really long time. Since my story came public in 2023, there's still so many logistical things that haven't gotten to actually happen because they know how to work the system. They know how to make themselves look like a victim themselves. It's just meant to make you feel crazy. And that's why people end up in really hard positions, and it takes a really strong person to go through this and come out on the other side okay. And I'm so grateful to this Love Army for being in this with me and knowing that you have helped get this to where it is, that you have helped make this story even bigger, and that we're going to keep getting more people to understand that men and boys are a part of this conversation and always have been. Please help these different pieces of the puzzle, my story. Please help more people hear about it because it helps us and it protects us in so many ways as well. If you're trafficked.
Now, he mentioned the Abercrombie CEO. That was a great segue. Again, a lot of this stuff that's going on, this is stuff that apparently these old white men do. Now, the Abercrombie CEO, which is so crazy because when they had Diddy in court, it was over every single blog. Y'all probably don't even know. Go to Google and Google it yourself. The CEO of Abercrombie was doing straight up sex trafficking. They let the man out on bail, and we haven't heard anything about it. What this man was doing was luring people, letting them think that they were going for a modeling gig. Imagine the Abercrombie and CEO calling you. Why would you think that the man was trying to sex traffic you? Like, why would you think that? But this is exactly what this old MFer was doing. And when I say he old is an understatement. You don't see anything about it. It is being kept quiet. They had Diddy all over the face of everything, lying, saying Diddy had trafficked kids. He had not did anything to that magnitude. In fact, he beat those charges. Even when we watched that case, we didn't see one child. So there was no children involved with his case. But you have this old white man, the Abercrombie and Fitch CEO. I'm going to bring it up for y'all so y'all can see it on your own. You don't hear anything about it. And they're saying this is what is going on with these Epstein files. They're saying the reason why we're not hearing anything, the reason why it's being kept quiet, because it's a whole bunch of what y'all think, old white men, rich white men on this list that was doing some nasty stuff. Now, if y'all follow, even if you did not vote for Donald Trump, I could never vote for Donald Trump. Even if I was a Republican, I would have to switch and be a damn Democrat at this particular time. Donald Trump ran his campaign. What did he tell y'all? He was releasing the Epstein files and all of these lies because I don't think Donald Trump understood how he can be implicated. Because think about it. Who's going to think about, Jeffrey Epstein was sending emails talking about Donald Trump. Like, why would Donald Trump even think of that? So now that all of this shit is coming out, Donald Trump is backpedaling. What is he trying to hide? Donald Trump can end all of this now. All he has to do is to release the files. Why is he not releasing the files? This is a man that ran on the idea, I'm going to release the files. Well, I have another clip for you guys. If you know who Kash Patel is, another loser that Donald Trump assigned to be the FBI director. And he also said, we're going to release the files, all of this bullshit. Well, he was called out for that very thing because you said you were going to release the files. Then you get here and now we're playing games. Who are these people trying to protect?
Ring. Before you joined the FBI, you railed against it for covering up Jeffrey Epstein's human trafficking ring. Let me refresh your memory with this clip.
It has Epstein's list. They're sitting on it. That doesn't seem like something you should do. You're protecting the world's foremost predator. That seems like an evil thing to do, regardless of who may be embarrassed in the release of that list. Why is the FBI protecting the greatest pederast, the largest scale pederast in human history?
Simple, because of who's on that list.
So you finished that December 2023 interview with a challenge to the FBI and harsh words for Republicans in Congress for not getting the Epstein files out to the public. You can see this clip.
Boy pants and let us know who the pedophiles are.
Put on your big boy pants and let us know who the pedophiles are, you said. You emphasized that the president and FBI director each had complete authority to release Epstein's client list. You said Epstein's black book is under the, quote, direct control of the director of the FBI. Look at this clip.
This is way off the topic, but who has Jeffrey Epstein's
Black book?
Black book.
FBI.
But who? That is, I mean, there's...
Oh, that's under direct control of the director of the FBI.
All right, so you were sworn in as director more than 200 days ago. Now the black book is under your direct control. So why haven't you released the names of Epstein's co-conspirators in the rape and sex trafficking of young women and girls?
Y'all get that? So they kept all of that before Kash Patel was like, oh, yeah, we need to get these people. He said that, you know, the black book was with the FBI director. Well, you are now the FBI director. Can you give us that? Because we want to know, why are we protecting people that hurt children? Can somebody let me know what type of person protects somebody that hurts children? Again, they're saying that this information, the reason why it's not being shared, because it ain't just, it's millionaires in there, white millionaires, and y'all know how they protect them. You know, they don't want to come out and, you know, say that they pedos, you know, but they'll lie and say, you know, Diddy is and all of these other folks is. But we know for a fact that Jeffrey Epstein was, you know, he was hanging out with these people. They were getting these little girls together, and now they don't want to release the files.
His personal attention. The footage, shot in November of 1992, before Trump opened the resort as a club, shows the future president surrounded by cheerleaders for the Buffalo Bills and Miami Dolphins, capturing Trump's fun-loving bachelor lifestyle for an appearance on Faith Daniels' NBC talk show.
We're going to get great ratings in your show.
Trump is surrounded by women as music blares in the background. After a while, Trump goes to greet 3 new guests, among them the financier Jeffrey Epstein.
Come on in, go inside.
More than a decade before his guilty plea on state prostitution charges. Later in the footage, Trump is seen talking to Epstein and another man as women are dancing in front of them. Trump alternates between dancing and pointing out women to Epstein and the other man and telling Epstein about the cameras. Though exactly what they say is difficult to understand as they discuss the women and their appearances, Trump gestures to one and appears to say to Epstein, "Look at her back there. She's hot." And then Trump says something else into Epstein's ear that makes him double over with laughter.
So, look like a friend to me. I mean, I'm just saying, they definitely look like friends. So Donald Trump with his damn lies, but you know, the information has come out and it looks like that they are protecting the pedos, because if you are not protecting the pedos, then release the information. We don't give a damn who is in there. This is not even a witch hunt for Donald Trump. But I know that Donald Trump has something to do with it. But we want all the names, all of the pedophiles. We want to know who they are.
Now, Democratic Congresswoman J.𝐵Z'Mon Crockett of Texas, a key member of the House Oversight Committee and the House Judiciary Committee as well. Congresswoman, thanks so much for joining us. What stands out to you from these emails that were publicly released by the committee today?
Yeah, so number one, it is clear that he knew what was going on, which I think that he's kind of alluded to that at some point in time, because the president said that he was trying to kick 𝐬𝐮𝐬𝐜𝐫𝐷𝐿𝐴ine out of Mar-a-Lago because it seems like that's where girls were being recruited from based on information that we have. But more importantly is that he was having conversation, he being Jeffrey Epstein, with Michael Wolff, who is writing this book or trying to put together this book. And in real time, as Trump is running for his first presidential run, we hear or we see that he made it clear that he believes that he has leverage over Trump. And he said that a Trump regime would basically open up, this is me paraphrasing, this is not exactly what he said, but basically it'd be a free-for-all. And as we've seen, especially in this second term, it's been a free-for-all where Trump has absolutely pardoned some folk that we know are terrible, and we are waiting on him to pardon Ghislaine Maxwell. I think that that's coming up soon, too.
Yeah, an important point indeed. Congresswoman, let's take a closer look at that email from Epstein where he writes to the author Michael Wolff saying this, and it's a direct quote, redacted victim, the name was redacted. Mar-a-Lago, Trump said he'd asked me to resign, never a member ever. Of course, he knew about the girls as he asked Ghislaine to stop. Obviously, we don't have the full context here, but I'm curious, how do you read this specific email and what it means?
Yeah, I think that it is showing that he was well aware and he was trying to cover his tracks at that point in time. And I think that that's what you saw from Jeffrey. Obviously, it'd be better if we could talk to Jeffrey today, but it was very interesting that ultimately Jeffrey Epstein died sitting in prison during Trump's administration.
We had on Representative Marlon Stutzman earlier. He's a Republican, and he tried to make the case that President Trump is the most investigated person in the world, and he has not been accused of any criminal wrongdoing here. What do you make of that?
Listen, they will do and say anything to cover themselves. You know, I will admit that Donald Trump has been investigated more than the normal, but he just happens to be more corrupt and more criminal than any other president than we've had. I will point out he is the only president who has been convicted of 34 felony convictions that we've ever had in the Oval Office. So while we don't know exactly what crimes he may or may not have committed, just think of it this way. If you know that you didn't do anything, then why is it that you would be twisting members of your own party's arms, trying to get them not to release it? This would be exonerating. If you know that you are free and clear, then why not say, you know what, release the files? In fact, he campaigned on releasing the files because he didn't realize that anything that he was involved in whatsoever was involved in the files. But let me tell you something. Another thing that was said in that other email that he had with Michael Wolff was he was talking about if he wants to basically play hardball. We will make mention of the fact that he really has been on the plane, and I don't remember if it mentioned the island.
Let's actually put that email up just so our viewers can fully understand what it says. I just hope the control room can put this email up. It says, I think you should let him hang himself. And this is in response to a question of whether CNN would plan to ask Trump in a town hall about the relationship with Epstein.
Okay, let me give y'all some clarification on this email. So what you guys are seeing, this is not an email of Jeffrey Epstein telling on Trump. This would be like somebody send you a text message. That will be equivalent. This email is equivalent to a text message. This Jeffrey Epstein was in a conversation with someone else. So it wasn't like he was ratting out Trump. He was having a conversation with another person, which is Michael Wolff. Now, what their conversation is really about is potentially what they're talking about is how can they use some of this information to basically get Trump in trouble if things don't go his way. So have y'all ever had a friend or maybe ever did something where somebody knew you did it and they told you, listen, if I don't get what I want, I'm telling on your ass. So in this particular situation, Jeffrey Epstein is having a conversation, and what the conversation is about, how can they use what they know about Donald Trump to benefit them? And people are starting to say, maybe that's why Jeffrey Epstein came up dead, because if y'all don't recall, Jeffrey Epstein was in jail, or should I say prison, during Donald Trump's first raggedy ass term. Okay, this is his second term. Now, in his first term, that is when Jeffrey Epstein was found dead in his cell. But what the conversation that they're having now is how can they use the information that they have on Trump to their benefit if Trump does something. Because if y'all recall, when I played the video earlier, what Jeffrey Epstein said about Trump is that he was a low-down MFer. So Jeffrey Epstein was keeping information on Trump to use to his own benefit. And then Jeffrey Epstein came up dead.
Said, how do we craft an answer for him? And Michael Wolff says in this email, I think you should let him hang himself. If he says he hasn't been on the plane or to the House, then that gives you a valuable PR and political currency. You can hang him in a way that potentially generates a positive benefit for you. Or if it really looks like he could win, you could save him, generating a debt. Of course, it is possible that when asked, he'll say Jeffrey is a great guy and has gotten a raw deal and is a victim of political correctness, which is to be outlawed in a Trump regime.
Yes.
That's a full email.
Yes, yes.
Okay, y'all get that? I can rewind it. So basically, they were talking about how they can use the information that they have on Trump to benefit Jeffrey Epstein. Now, you see a lot of, well, I won't say a lot of, but some people are saying they were going to blackmail him. Well, here's the deal. Whether they was going to blackmail his ass or not, the information that they're using to blackmail him is legitimate. He legitimately was friends with Jeffrey Epstein. He was messing around with these girls because Jeffrey Epstein witnessed it. Okay. So yes. Okay. Jeffrey Epstein was going to use the information against Trump to benefit him. Well, he said that's the type of person Trump was. So I guess he was going to do it to him first. That doesn't mean that Trump is innocent.
Asked Trump in a town hall about the relationship with Epstein. Epstein said, how do we craft an answer for him? And Michael Wolff says in this email, I think you should let him hang himself. If he says he hasn't been on the plane or to the House, then that gives you a valuable PR and political currency. You can hang him in a way that potentially generates a positive benefit for you. Or if it really looks like he could win, you could save him, generating a debt. Of course, it is possible that when asked, he'll say Jeffrey is a great guy and has gotten a raw deal and is a victim of political correctness, which is to be outlawed in a Trump regime.
Yes.
That's a full email.
Yes, yes, yes. That is clear that Jeffrey Epstein had something to hang over his head. Why else or how else could you have a debt that you are able to? Now, exactly what it was, who knows, right? And that's what we're trying to get to the bottom of. But the fact that Trump does not want these files to be out, to me, says that he has more to hide than him actually being able to exonerate himself.
And then the other email talking about that we used initially, I'm just trying to find that email so I can be really precise here, but it talks about how Epstein is emailing Maxwell saying that Trump was with a victim at his house for several hours. This is an email from April 2nd, 2011. Republicans are saying that that victim is Virginia Giuffre. As you know, she died by suicide. She's been very outspoken. Jeffrey Epstein. Here's the email right here on your screen. She wrote a book, as you know, and she did not accuse him of any wrongdoing. What do you make of that? And can you confirm that?
Yeah, I don't know. Obviously, it's redacted who the victim is, so I won't necessarily take the Republicans' word on who it is that's redacted. And I don't know why they would necessarily redact someone's name who is deceased at this point.
The Democrats did that, though. The Democrats redacted.
No. I understand,
Okay,
but I'm just saying, like, our biggest concern is to actually make sure that we are protecting victims. And obviously, she wrote a book. She told her truth. Whether or not she told everything, who knows? Again, another person that we can't talk to because we have yet another side around this. So I think that that's actually one of the things that we should talk about is that the president has tried to call this all a hoax. I don't think you have this many people dying around a hoax. I don't think you have somebody trying to hide files around a hoax. We know that there's something there. We know that his own attorney general had to admit that he is in the files. But they are trying to hide stuff. The only reason that we have these emails is because we were able to get them from the estate. Not because the Department of Justice was releasing information, not because Kash Patel was releasing information, even though they've had subpoenas from the Oversight Committee for some time. Kash Patel continues to hold back information. So I thank God that there is somebody that still respects the law and still respects subpoenas in this country, but it's not the people that are empowered to do it, the people that actually conducted the the investigation. Imagine what we may discover if we got the investigatory information versus getting something from an estate.
Well, but we should also note that the head of the Oversight Committee is a Republican. It's Republican. The chairman is 𝐬𝐮𝐬𝐫𝐞, and he is the one who is issuing these subpoenas.
Well, let's be clear about this.
Okay.
This is not something that he wanted to do. This was a subcommittee, remember? It has been the Speaker of the House who has consistently tried to avoid this by shutting down the House. So what the Speaker did is he sent us out on an early recess. But before we left, it was a subcommittee of the Oversight Committee that actually did the motion for the subpoenas, and the Democrats kept pushing, and some Republicans actually joined with the Democrats. This was not led by 𝐬𝐮𝐬𝐫𝐞.
Like Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Marjorie Taylor Greene, I don't know if she's on that subcommittee.
Okay.
But Nancy Mace is on that subcommittee for sure. She's actually the chair of that subcommittee. This subcommittee, the ranking member is Summer Lee. So it was that subcommittee. So this was actually the tail wagging the dog. I just want to be clear about that. And ultimately, the chairman had a vote that was bipartisan, that was the majority, and he had to do it. But whether or not they have been like slow rolling this, there is no question about the fact that they have.
And you have had Marjorie Taylor Greene, I believe Thomas Massey. It's been some Republicans who want the full floor vote on this.
Yeah, we've got 4. 4 out of the 219 Republicans, yes, in the House. The rest of them seem to be okay with being complicit with protecting pedophiles.
You know, it's interesting. A CNN poll from last July showed that 50% of Americans were feeling dissatisfied about the amount of information released on the Epstein case. Did that have any influence at all on your decision to make these emails public today?
No, I mean, ultimately what's happened is, obviously, again, we've not been getting anything from the DOJ. Instead, it's been the estate of Epstein. And so as they've been turning things over, it takes staff time to review those documents and things like that to make sure that we've got something, number one, of value to the public. There's still additional information. I want to be clear. We got way more than 3 emails. But in their cursory review, they were able to say, okay, here are 3 emails that we think are of value. We do anticipate that there will be more that they will find that will be of value. They will go through the redaction process. They will also consult with the Republicans before we release anything. So it takes a little bit of a process. But I will say, again, that the estate seemingly has been more participatory than our own Department of Justice, who we actually oversee.
So where do you think all of this is heading?
Good question. I don't know, but hopefully it will start with the swearing in of 𝐟𝐨𝐫𝐞, as they have been avoiding that. Again, the House was shut down over that. I'm sure that the president has been making calls trying to get one of the 4 Republicans that did sign on to the discharge petition. I'm sure he is begging and threatening to get them to pull their names off of there. We know that they don't want to vote. We know that they called us in just for one day to work after we've been out since September. Again, we could be doing additional work. Even if this continuing resolution passes, we should be passing our appropriations bills. That's all the continuing resolution is for, it is in the meantime. But instead, it seems like they want to continue to be evasive so that they can slow walk this subpoena actually coming down.
All right, Congresswoman 𝐬𝐮𝐬𝐫𝐞, great to see you here in the situation. Thank you for your time.
Absolutely.
Well, and let me kind of break that down for y'all. With regards to the files that they received, and I think I said this already, the files that they received was actually released by the actual estate. So no files came from Donald Trump and his raggedy administration. Now, I don't know if y'all saw any more updates, but now since this has all come out, guess what old Donnie is doing? Well, he is now attacking the Democrats, which I'm like, can we get over the Democrat Republican shit? Because Donald Trump, they're saying that you are a whole pedophile. This don't have anything to do with Republican or Democrat. So now Donald Trump, of course, trying to cover this up. He never takes responsibility for anything. He still calls this a hoax, which how is this a hoax when there were victims? Like, there are real victims out there, but he calls this a hoax. And now he's going after Bill Clinton and a whole bunch of other people. So I'm just like, What in the entire hell do we have in the White House? Like, this is the craziest, dumbest ass administration that I have ever. I mean, I guess the only administration that was dumber was when he was in office the last time. So this is so crazy. Let me see if I can find that. But yeah, there is information out here, y'all, that Donald Trump is now trying to get the DOJ to go against a few other people who minding their damn business. Okay, here we go. This is the last little update. Let me share this with y'all. This whole damn administration is like, I believe they may be getting high over there in them people's house, because this don't make sense. So Donald Trump continues to go off on the Democrats and weak Republicans for exposing the Epstein emails. He attempts to throw other political figures under the bus. Don't waste your time with Trump. Don't waste your time with Trump. I have a country to run. But I guess this is what he said. So he keeps saying that this is a hoax. He says the Democrats are doing everything in their withering power to push the Epstein hoax. This man is so ignorant. He keeps saying the Epstein hoax. How do you shame the victims? This is really you throwing jabs at the victims. There is no Epstein hoax. This is real life. Again, despite the DOJ releasing 50,000 pages of documents in order to deflect from all of their bad policies and losses. What is this man talking about? We want to know about this Epstein stuff. This is what he ran on. He said he was going to release the damn files. Release the damn files. He's saying that basically they're doing this because, man, what? He says they're pretty much releasing this because they're embarrassed of the shutdown. This is so crazy. He says where their party is in total disarray and has no idea what to do. It seemed like y'all are in just a little bit crunch of a disarray. He said, and has no idea what to do. Some weak Republicans have fallen into their clutches because they are soft and foolish. So why do these people got to be weak? Because they're not a pedophile. The only person that supports a pedophile is another pedophile. Why wouldn't they not say they're going to sign with the people who want to see who is harming children? This is how you know that this man is evil and wicked. Okay, this is how you know he's evil and wicked. He said Epstein was a Democrat. We don't give a damn what Epstein was. We care about you and the rest of the nasty white men that was with Epstein doing nasty stuff to children. We don't care if they was a Democrat, a Republican, an independent. We really don't give a damn. Okay. He says Epstein was a Democrat and he is the Democrats' problem, not the Republicans' problem. This man is so damn ignorant. He said, ask Bill Clinton, Reid Hoffman, and Larry Summers about Epstein. They know all about him. Don't waste your time with Trump. I have a country to run. And he running that damn country right into the damn ground. He is running the country into the ground. People are laughing at us. We are a damn laughing stock. We got a felon. Donald Trump is a multiple felon. He ain't a felon. He has multiple. And, this is just getting out of hand. So, of course, Donald Trump wants to call this a hoax as if this never happened. This entire Epstein, stuff about Epstein, he wants people to think that this is all a damn hoax. Now, I don't know why people still support this man, because you could never play with my intelligence like that. Also, guys, the woman who filed the lawsuit against Trump, I'm going to get those documents The lady said she was 13 and she was hired by Trump and Epstein. Now, she was able to sue Trump. Do y'all know that Trump is now going back to the Supreme Court and trying to get them to reverse the decision? Like, this dude doesn't want to take responsibility for anything. He was already found and deemed liable. So now he wants to go back and say, can you flip that decision? So Donald Trump, again, I don't understand. Even if you like Donald Trump, I'm not sure how anybody can support somebody that hurts children. Now, that's some sick shit. That's extremely sick. And Epstein told us, when asked, had he been with Donald Trump in the presence of a child, what'd he say?
6th and 14th Amendment rights, sir.
Have you ever had a personal relationship with Donald Trump?
What do you mean by personal relationships?
Have you socialized with him?
Yes, sir.
Yes?
Yes, sir.
Have you ever socialized with Donald Trump in the presence of females under the age of 18?
Though I'd like to answer that question, at least today, I'm going to have to assert my 5th, 6th, and 14th Amendment.
Okay. When asked, has he entertained girls under 18 with Donald Trump under the age of 18, why the hell couldn't he just say no? I mean, when you start talking about you asserting your 14th Amendment, it's a yes. Okay. That's a yes, because it's a no or it happened. Okay. This is Donald Trump's friend. What did he say about the girls under 18?
I'm going to have to assert my 5th, 6th, and 14th Amendment rights, sir.
Have you ever had a personal relationship with Donald Trump?
What do you mean by personal relationships?
Have you socialized with him?
Yes, sir.
Yes?
Yes, sir.
Have you ever socialized with Donald Trump in the presence of females under the age of 18?
Though I'd like to answer that question.
Man, that's just sick. I mean, if it's not a no, it's a yes. All that other shit, all of that other stuff means that the answer is yes. And instead of saying yes, you want to tell us that you don't want to say yes, because somebody asks you, have you ever been with somebody under 18? Yeah, when I was under 18, my grown ass ain't been with no kid. The fact of the matter is that you cannot say no. It is a yes. The fact that you can't say no, it's a yes. And this is disgusting. This is disgusting. It is sick. And something needs to be done about this. Something needs to be done about this, because the emails have been released. Is out there. They're saying that they are still working with Jeffrey Epstein's estate. The reason why the Democratic Party is working with Jeffrey Epstein's estate, because they're actually getting stuff quicker than our own government ran by Donald Trump is actually providing. So just to kind of give y'all some background information as to why we're receiving some files, but then you hear people saying they won't release the files. The files that y'all have saw online have been released by Jeffrey Epstein's estate, which is crazy because we have a whole entire government. Why is the government not releasing the damn files? If you know you ain't did nothing, what are you hiding from? What are you scared of? This is clear and convincing information that Donald Trump is definitely hiding something. Like, come on now. I mean, it is what it is. One thing I've learned about Donald Trump in both his administrations, he will throw anybody under the bus to save himself. So some people were saying, that, Donald Trump is trying to protect other people. Oh, no, the hell he not. Donald Trump is only interested in protecting himself. So the fact that he not releasing the files is a telling story as to him actually being in these damn files.
released this morning by Democrats on that panel, several mentioning President Trump by name.
This morning, the bombshell release of what House Democrats say are emails to and from deceased convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, several referring to President Donald Trump by name. In an April 2011 email released by Democrats on the House Oversight Committee, lawmakers say Epstein wrote to his now convicted accomplice, Ghislaine Maxwell, 3 years after pleading guilty to sex crimes involving a minor, telling her, "I want you to realize that that dog that hasn't barked is Trump. Unnamed victims spent hours at my house with him. He has never once been mentioned." According to the released emails, Maxwell responds, "I have been thinking about that." But this summer, in a recorded interview with the Department of Justice, Maxwell told Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche, the president's former lawyer, she never witnessed Trump act inappropriately.
I never witnessed the president in any inappropriate setting in any way. The president was never inappropriate with anybody. In the times that I was with him, he was a gentleman in all respects.
Shortly after that interview, Maxwell was moved to a minimum security prison camp, prompting criticism she received special treatment. Committee Democrats also releasing this January 2019 email, where Epstein corresponds with author Michael Wolff less than 6 months before the financier would be charged again, this time with sex trafficking of minors. Discussing President Trump's repeated claim he kicked Epstein out of his Palm Beach club, Epstein writing, "Trump said he asked me to resign, never a member ever. Of course, he knew about the girls as he asked Ghislaine to stop." President Trump has denied any knowledge of Epstein's alleged crimes.
It's a hoax. It's started by Democrats.
After Epstein's arrest in 2019, Trump said he hadn't spoken with him in 15 years. And earlier this year, Trump claimed the reason he banned his one-time friend from Mar-a-Lago in the mid-2000s was because Epstein stole Trump's club staff, including young women.
He took people, and because he took people, I said, don't do it anymore. You know, they work for me. And he took, beyond that, he took some others. And once he did that, that was the end of him. I didn't like, when they steal people, I don't like it.
And no response yet from the White House on the release of these emails. Meantime,
now, if you follow what Donald Trump says, Donald Trump is so damn stupid. He's definitely a pathological liar. But one thing I learned about liars, they don't understand that when they tell these lies that they sound totally ridiculous. Did y'all hear what Donald Trump said? He stole people. How in the hell do you steal somebody? Okay, so if I'm working a job and somebody come in there and they recruit me, did they steal me or did I quit and go work for somebody else? So the fact that Donald Trump is saying that he stole people is a telling story as to what the hell was going on. Because how does Jeffrey Epstein steal people from him? That doesn't make any sense. If somebody wanted to leave Donald Trump and go work for Epstein, then it would be on their free will. But if you are sex trafficking people, yeah, I can understand why he can steal your people and keep them for his. So Donald Trump is a liar, but he's such a liar and such an idiot that he doesn't, and this is with all liars, when they lie, because keep in mind, a liar just lies. They don't really think about to say, oh, is that going to make sense? They just blurt out freaking lies. So Donald Trump, you know, is really telling us what the hell is really going on. When you say he stole people, I'm just like, what the hell? Would he put them in his pocket? What did he put them in the van? Because I'm not understanding how he stole people. Okay. How do you steal somebody? It seems like he stole your traffic people and, you know, traffic them over on his side, because I'm not understanding how the hell he was able to steal a whole damn human. So the shit is coming out about Donald Trump. I'm going to jump back on later because I got to see, I know it's some other stuff coming out, which I didn't have a chance to look at because it's so much coming out so fast. But we going to talk about Jeffrey Epstein and Donald Trump until we get these damn files, because Donald Trump is trying to create a bunch of nonsense because he doesn't want people to talk about this. We're going to talk about it. We're going to find out what's going on. And as soon as they release some more, we'll be back on here. See y'all later.